Hi, and welcome to another episode of Kuntarkis. My name is Michael Yon, and this episode is on many things, and it starts with Kuntarkis sharing a experience where, as he has done many times, gone to bed and then found himself with a manifested physical body in a reality where he's there to somehow help out.
I was thinking about the circumstances, and it reminded me so much of a couple of other situations. One was naturally the massive snake, and one was the volcano, where I saved these two people from actually jumping into the volcano because they weren't meant to. They were actually conned through a drug which was created by a tribe of people. And one of the two men, he was going to be the actual the leader of his people. But this guy convinced him to commit suicide to save the people from the volcano. And he also put him under some drug that sort of he was easy to control. It was very interesting.
Wow.
So I was thinking about that, and also the big snake, and I was just saying the different circumstances that we as individuals can experience.
Yeah. You especially. What about but the one with the volcano, that was just a reality that you rocked up in as yourself, not into Roman's body?
No, as Kuntarkis. As Kuntarkis.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that was actually very, very interesting because I looked not far in the distance and I could feel the heat from the volcano. And I actually realized that these two people that were in front of me were natives of some island. I'm not sure on the island. And it looks like they were being sacrificed, and they were going to sacrifice themselves for the people so the volcano wouldn't destroy the island. And I had to convince them, which I did. I convinced them. One thing I did actually mention to them, I won't go into detail because it's pretty long. I did mention that I came out of the spirit world and to save them because they were not meant to die. And I pointed to one particular one and says, you are to be the leader of the people, and you were conned by this doctor, like witch doctor or whatever it was called back then. And he listened, and he actually understood, which was really interesting. And he was very angry. And have a guess what he did? After 3 years of becoming the leader of the people, once he became the leader, he actually got that guy, that other man that tried to kill him, and had him carried off in the night and thrown into the volcano.
Very good.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. If people have to be treated the way that they were treating others, I know you said that yesterday, say with violence or this or that. How are you going to treat me?
I'll probably switch you in the volcano, mate.
It's probably going to set me on fire, and I'll just live in there for a while and figure something out. Yeah.
You won't even know you're dead.
Imagine that, right? Like going and being in a volcano and being as a spirit who's just left his body. That'd be interesting.
Yeah, well, you could, depends how you react to it. If you react in a very fearful situation and you panic before you die, you can take those emotions and you can disappear somewhere in the astral world or the lower part of the spirit world, and you could be there for a very long time in the darkness so nobody finds you to throw you back in the volcano from your experience. And that's what happens I'm not joking, to hundreds of thousands of human people when they take their last breath, especially people who have a lot of fear, like, for instance, soldiers. I've come across soldiers from the long past, the past, as well as the present, or in the last, say, 50 years, 40 years, 20 years. And what's really amazing, the fear that they have before they die is just incredible. And they end up being stuck in the spirit world, and they repeat the same cycle over and over again. It's really sad, mate.
Yeah,
Really, really sad.
two things happen. They're there, but they're also repeating the same issue over and over, right?
Yes, yes.
Is it like a
Until
dream for
someone,
them, or is it literal? It's
it's
not a
it's
dream.
no, it's like a dream, but it's actual reality to them. Right? In that dream, it basically is reality to them, not to me, not to you, but to them.
You've gone and found people in that loop, haven't you? You've found them in the story that they're stuck
In the
on.
yeah, in the time that I've actually been on this planet, which is what 50, 54 or 55 years in this body, um, I've actually helped save. It's got to be well over 1,000, well over 1,000 spirits, probably more likely 1,300 or something like that, where I've literally been taken to them and I've saved them from committing suicide. I've saved them from living a horrible existence in spirit world over and over and over and over again, all that type of thing. And the ones who have committed suicide, I've also helped them understand that it's okay. It's not a thing that you do because you're going to go back and do it again. But when you do go back and you have those thoughts, whatever the reason may be, you've got to change it. And when you talk to spirits, you're impregnating their consciousness if they're open to it. And that will actually help them overcome what they did in that present lifetime to the new lifetime in the future.
Well, so when you say that you're saving them, it's because they are actually able to leave the spirit world and have a real rejuvenation and then
Yes,
a reincarnation.
yes, yes. Just because somebody commits suicide, mate, doesn't mean that they're wrong or they're evil or they're going to be condemned with negative karma. You know, that's all their thinking. That's all their conditioning. When you commit suicide, normally if you have guides with you, which normally most do, they will come and try to help you and assist you in every way possible to make you understand that was not the thing to do, but your emotions took over and you end up doing it without even thinking rationally. I don't think I said that word right then.
I think you said it. You just had a few more lilies.
Oh, okay.
Rationally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, mate. Just before you go on, I just want to mention something that I was going to mention because last night I was doing a healing on a family in Romania. Romania, is
That's
it?
right. You had it right. Romania.
Romania. And I remember them saying to me, "Who are you?" You know, and I explained to them that I come from Australia. My name is Kuntarkis, and I'm here to help you overcome what you're about to do. And he was going to commit suicide, his wife was, and his 4 children because of what's happening in that country. They've got to a stage where it's so hard to survive, and the father is not thinking rationally, and he's literally saying the only way out for us is for us to kill ourselves. That's what he said, not commit suicide, because he probably doesn't understand the word suicide. He said, just kill us, kill ourselves. And he spoke to the children, and because they were like, say, from 8 to about 16 or something. That's what they look like. There was three girls and a boy, and I spoke to them very gently. And the girl was, I'd say she was about 14, and she came up to me and looked me in the face and smiled, and she says, "I love you." And I said, "That's really lovely, sweetheart." I said, "I love you too, as I love your father and I love your mother. I love your brothers." I said, "I'm here to open my heart up to you and to your brothers and to your father and to your mother to help you understand this is not the way out. This will only cause conflict and devastation in your lives to come." And then I explained about reincarnation very quickly, but the overall part of it. And what was really amazing, they all understood it. Even the youngest boy, he understood that you live more than one life. So somebody told him that, I don't know who. So I explained a lot of things to them about the spirit world, about reincarnation, and what you do in your current life will be displayed and lived in your next lifetime. And they actually understood it. And he said to me, which was really amazing, the father, he said to me, he said, Kuntarkis, he said, it is so difficult financially to look after my wife and my children and a home. We now have to rent. They took our home away from us because I lost my job. And I spoke to him, and do you know what I said to him? What I saw around him was something really interesting. His grandfather used to make leather things like saddles, wallets, shoes sometimes, all different things for women, handbags, out of leather, all those many, 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 many years ago. That was his trade. And he was self-sufficient, and he had lots of work. And he said, you know, it's funny you say that. He said, I make wallets, and I have made some handbags in the past, but I gave it away when I had my job. And I said, you need to go back to it. And you can use your children to go door to door selling the wallets and selling the handbags. And he looked at me and smiled, and he said, I still have all my tools. I said, that is brilliant. He said, they are packed away in a leather bag, he said, for many, many years. He said, I will get them out and I will do this. He said, you have saved me, my wife, and my children. And he came up to me and gave me the most biggest embracement, and he kissed me right in the center of the head. And I heard it, you know, I heard the kiss, and I allowed it. His wife came up and did exactly the same thing, and each of his children came up and did exactly the same thing. And what was interesting, one of the boys, he was the oldest, he came up and he put his hands on my shoulders and then threw his hands around me and squeezed me so tight. And he said, why are you so real? I said, that's because I created a body. His fascination for that was just incredible, absolutely incredible. And then I stood back and looked at them. I let go of the body, and all they could see was a silhouette. And they waved to me, and they even threw a kiss and said, thank you. And then my spirit just gone, and I woke up within, say, probably 5 or 6 seconds after that. So I was in Romania.
Yeah. Wow, that's fantastic, Kuntarkis.
Well, it's a pretty interesting experience, mate. I can tell you, I'm having some really, they're getting really deep. They're getting deep in the real spiritual essence of what we are each capable of. And that's what I was going to say very quickly. I know we've spoken about this, but this is just a little different about healing. I want people out there to spread it. If they listen to this, then spread the same knowledge, the same form of techniques. They're simple. I want people to understand that they are energy before they are physical. Because if their physical body dies, the energy of who they are lives on, and it never perishes. Only the body perishes. So being living energy, you have a consciousness which can be created into a very deep thought consciousness through self-awareness by using your imagination. If you stand in front of a mirror and put your palms facing the mirror, not touching it, but facing the mirror, then believe by thinking deeply that your heart is emanating pure white light, which is living energy. And believe it beyond all doubt that it is circling your heart. And as it circles, it spreads right throughout the human body. And you say to yourself, with this energy, I heal my being. I heal my being. I heal my being. And I bring the balance into my existence right here, right now. And I push that energy out through my hands to whoever needs it, and let it massively spread out, because I am infinite and the energy that I use will never run short, because I draw it in from the atmosphere. It is endless, timeless, and ageless. I am light, and I heal whoever. And what you see and believe, that this energy is hitting the mirror, going through the mirror to wherever it is meant to go, without even taking recognition of anyone specific. But if you want to send it to a specific person, then do that. Believe you see them, and then see the energy go through the mirror, and see them in the mirror, in your imagination, and see the energy permeating into that being, and say, I healed you, I balance you. Allow this to happen. That's all you got to do for healing. That's how powerful we are. But we have been so dumbed out to the reality of the elite criminals who have literally dictated to us and controlled us through domination, through misery, through pain. And they are the ones that have created it. And the most interesting factor, we go back 300 years ago, yes, people died a lot. And they say people died of all these different diseases and we no longer have those diseases. That is 100% a lie. What they died from was massive wars. They were slaughtered, chopped up, raped, murdered by all the sickos of the planet. Yes, there were some who died because they were given the wrong instructions. When you've got a cold or a flu, you don't just lay in a bed that's full of bugs, because the bugs get into your lungs and they cause you lots of problems. And if the body can't create enough mucus, that mucus can drown you, because it's so inundated with the bed bugs that no one really spoke about 300 years ago. So there's a lot of reasons why people died back then, but it wasn't to do with viruses and all that type of stuff. Today, the World Health Organization, through the actual pharmaceutical companies and the elite rich, are the ones who own everything. And they are the ones who have created more disease than we could ever imagine. And those diseases, yes, are killing us because they're creating it. And in the tablet, for the last 100 years, they have been putting things in that are causing us more issues in our human bodies. They are putting in absolute toxic poisons into all the pre-made foods, especially when it comes to milk products, meat products, fish products, all that type of stuff. And what they're doing recently is bovine into meat, which causes cancer in men, makes them also sterile, causes cancer in women and other ailments. So a lot of people got to learn to understand the society that we live in today. The only reason we are sick constantly is because our bodies are toxified, and we need to detox our bodies. We need to learn not to drink the water that comes out of our tap as much as we do, because it's full of really bad stuff like fluoride, aluminium. It does kill us eventually. The food, we got to change the way we see things when we eat. We got to eat food more from a very natural source. Like, leaves today. I've gone off leaves. Now, my consciousness has basically pushed me away from leaves, and I can't understand why. Now I do. Because if you take leaves from Coles and Woolworths, they are sprayed with the toxic poison before they go into those bags. And what it does, it keeps them green from going bad, but it also keeps them stiff. So what we're eating, Michael, when we eat leaves, we're eating poison. And over a period of time, that's going to really affect our human health. The best thing to do if you want to be healthy, we can give away things like that. And what my wife said to me, Misha, she said, I feel so much better not eating green leaves, but having our mixture.
Yes, the spirulina, the
Spirulina,
chlorella, the wheatgrass. Yes.
chlorella, the wheatgrass, the barley grass. There's silica or whatever you call it. I'm not sure, but there's another one. They're all in. You can buy that, and it's not expensive. By having that, you are having all the greens that your body needs. By drinking good water, and only reason I'm saying this is because I've tested it, I've experimented with it, and that's the LD water at this time. I would never drink Coles water. Absolutely not. I believe a lot of it, in many situations, is only filtered water, not spring water. There's been a lot of controversial things going on about that. But the LD's water smells fresh. Even if you leave it sit out in the sun for a whole day, 10 days, and bring the bottle in, let it cool down, put it in the fridge, get it nice and cold, and you drink it, it's like drinking clean water. You take Coles bottle in different situations, and it seems to have a really punchy smell. That's not natural. That's unnatural. So if we start drinking cleaner water, less soft drinks, because soft drinks, all they do is make us more thirsty, so we drink more soft drinks. It dries our body out. It inundates us with sugar. Sugar is the biggest reason why we put on so much weight. Oil, it's a proven fact that if you take 2 spoons of oil per day, that's a good oil, you know, like in other words, the hemp oil with 369, or cold press extra virgin oil, 2 of those per day, you will find your skin will glow. You will find your hair will be a lot better, easier to manage. And your skin won't be dry as the way it used to be, because we were lacking in oil, because the oils we were having in so many products today is canola. And they're really trying to impress the world by selling canola so cheap worldwide. And if you go to every Woolworth store, every Coles store, you will see canola oil in large stacks. And other oils are seen to be disappearing off the shelves more and more and more, especially extra virgin cold pressed oils.
In the olive oil.
Very hard to come by. Or olive oils, yes. And olive oil has always been known as one of the best oils in the world, if it's cold pressed extra virgin. Now, so if we look at what we put into our bodies, we will find we'll be more motivated to heal ourselves naturally. And when we get a cold or a flu, we won't go running to a damn stupid bloody doctor that wants to just inundate us with antibiotics that have been played with by the pharmaceutical companies, and we're putting in toxins, because all it does is dry up your mucus. And then later on, you feel good, and then 2 months down the track, you got a flu again, a cold again, because it's reactivated. So we had to change the way we think, the way we see life, the way we see our food, the way we see water, and we have to become more positive than negative by releasing the negativity, forgiving ourselves, and letting it go as a lesson of the past, and live in positivity. And our life will change in every simple way.
Yeah, speaking of lessons, like it's true, the elite have controlled the schools, and we're not taught how to, for instance, really be good and manage our money, but also like to even do a healing, like you said, in front of the mirror. We're not taught that stuff at all at school.
No, we're not taught anything at school, actually. The only thing we're taught is how to be fearful. We're taught in a way where the curriculum is created by the Rockefeller Foundation, and that's not good. And it started probably over 100 years ago. The Rockefeller did it, and now they seem to follow that system. The problem is we're inundated children, younger and younger, into technology that will damage their brain. Like they're pushing phones onto kids. They're pushing laptops onto kids. It's all damaging. It damages their eyes. It damages their body. Damages their cellular structure in so many ways over many years. And by the time they reach adulthood and they're out there working, they're suffering all these ailments. And that's not natural, Michael, for the human body, because we are the greatest healer. I've got to explain this about a healer, by the way. There's this lady who has claimed to be a healer for many, many years by doing different healing courses. She's never been a healer, never, because she's too emotional, she's too negative, and she uses healing for the wrong reasons, especially negative. And she also lies, and that's the worst thing to a client, is lying. She tell them things that is not true because she's making that person herself out to be some type of guru with all this damn knowledge. That's the wrong thing to do. When you're a healer, all you do is allow yourself to be an instrument for divine living energy. Nothing more, nothing less. And that's the whole purpose. That's the whole purpose. People do not understand what a healer actually is. And that's really sad. Healing is so simple. We don't have to go out there and spend, hundreds or thousands of dollars to acquire that ability. When we learn through the simple ways of healing ourselves first, we can then help others heal themselves. And they'll help others, and they'll help others. And before we know it, we know the art of healing.
I see. I know that you've been kind enough to share several times. It's just like you can share in less than 5 minutes how simple it is to visualize this energy through you and onto the other person, that it doesn't have to go anywhere specific. It just kind of goes to their heart or something. It is not that complicated, is it?
That's right. If I walked up to someone, right, and if I was looking at them and I knew that they had problems with their organs, for instance, right, say a particular organ like their lungs or their heart or their liver or their kidneys or pancreas, whatever it may be, or their kneecaps or their hips, I already, in those few moments before I grip their hand, if I do, I literally already take energy from my being through my hand into their hand automatically for them without even saying one word. And everything is 100% positive. That's the most important factor of it all, is how you see things in a positive way. So when you pass energy onto someone, you must be completely unbiased in every way. You cannot lie. You cannot cheat. You cannot tell them things that will change their destiny in life. You have to speak from your heart, and your heart will always tell you the truth. The human brain, because of its confusion through the ego and its logical thinking, in most people will end up telling you silly things. And if you live by that, then they're guilty. They're creating their own karma. And that's the silly part. But the simplicity of healing is thought consciousness. If you think through your heart that you are healed, you have already begun that transformation. If you see yourself put your hands out open in front of you and you see divine energy being drawn into your hands from the universe, which is all around us and throughout every universe, and you can feel that energy and believe it, it's coming through your hands. When you put your hands on someone's head or their feet, you don't need to put them anywhere else. That's a fallacy. That energy will automatically transfer from your hands into those feet and spread right throughout the body like light being flying at, say, 10 kilometers per hour or 2 kilometers per hour, right throughout the entire body. You don't have to say a word. All you do is say, I allow the energy to flow through me. I am an instrument for divine healing. That I accept. That I am. And it will flow out of your hands into that person's body. And you believe beyond all doubt that you have helped in the healing process. If they are aware of what you're doing, and if they say to themselves, I accept your healing energies, then they are also in that moment of transformation. And that's very, very important. That's how easy it is, Michael.
Uh-huh.
It's simple.
Wow, yeah. And of course it helps if the healer is also, it helps if the healer is healthy and unemotional.
Absolutely. You can't heal someone who's really negative, mate.
Or you can't be negative and heal someone else because you're the healer that is negative.
Absolutely. And what you're passing on to that person is your negativity.
Right.
Your negative energies. Because everything in the universe is energy. It's not solid. We only appear to be solid. But in reality, we're not. It's energy. That's all it is. And if you look at energy, energy can be transferred anywhere at any moment, if you believe it, into anything, even into a cup that you've broken. You say, I love my cup, oh, damn it. And you can put healing energy into it. Yes, it'll not heal, but that's what you do. You're learning. You're going through a learning process in all different directions. And that's very, very important. Very important.
Yeah, I like that. It's very much tied with a manifesting type consciousness, isn't it?
Yes. Yes. It is. It is, mate. It is. But people have to realize that healing is a simple process, and anyone in this planet or on this planet or any planet throughout all the the trillions of universes, you can heal.
Including distance healing as well, right? Distance healing?
Yeah. Yeah. If you can link your energy through your heart, through that connection, then you are automatically using that energy to heal. Because the heart is the center of your universe. That's why when people meditate and they're cleansing their chakra centers, you must always go to the heart. And you send it down through those chakras, then back up through your heart, which cleanses, and you go to your throat chakra, your crown chakra, your third eye, whatever, all the way up. And that actually helps cleanse everything. But if you come from the base and you work all the way up with your emotions from the base chakra, you're taking your base chakra emotions into your heart. And that's what you don't do. You go down with the energy to the base chakra, or even down to your toes, because you have chakras all the way down your legs. And you can cleanse everything from your ankles to your knees, to your hips, to your chest, to your heart, and then all the way up, and release everything. And that gives you balance.
You must have remembered a lot from your planet Nicaris about that kind of study, that kind of knowledge about the heart.
I have to answer that and say 100% yes. And what's open to me now, because of the seventh dimensional beings, the Nipulans, they've helped me open up areas in my divinity. Say, I call my divinity basically my cellular structure, which is 4 quadrillion cells. That's my makeup. What you see before you with your human eyes is simply my physical essence, which allows me to live on this third dimensional planet. That's what you see. But if your eyes were beyond the third dimension, what you would see is everything. You would see every body that I have, from the spirit to the aura to the etheric and beyond. That's the difference. But we don't, because we're third dimensional. That's all we believe.
And you don't open yourself up to seeing that in every person that you see, because it would be quite spectacular, I guess.
Well, it can be actually It can be
Overwhelming?
very overwhelming, my friend. Yes, yes. It's like when I
Mm.
used to listen to some of the spirits that would come and talk to me. I would sit in my chair in privacy and I would communicate. I've had spirits sit down in chairs or look like they're sitting in a chair, right? And I'm talking to them. And then suddenly I remember many times I was so overwhelmed by anything from 50 spirits to 1,000
Oh, wow.
in one go. And they're all talking at the same time. And that overwhelmed me. And I stopped it for about 3 or 4 years. And then when I learnt why, I accepted that back again, and I would talk to the spirits and say, "You must be quiet now," and they do, one at a time, and they talk. It's because it's like to them, Michael, it's a divine power. That's how they see it.
You mean they see that the fact that they get to speak to you?
Exactly.
Right. And so they're all excited, like, oh, we can all talk at the same time because they're so excited to talk to Kuntarkis.
Well, it's not so much talking to Kuntarkis; it's talking to someone that can see them,
Mm.
and that helps them because they've been going through so much pain and misery.
Mm.
So hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of spirits like that. Because our spirit world is probably 10 times bigger than the planet itself when it comes to a dimension. So there are so many spirits, mate, that are overwhelmed within what's happened to them, or who's murdered them, or who raped them, or how they died in a war so horribly. I've seen spirits crawling on the ground with one arm and half a chest in the head.
Wow.
Yeah. And I've
Gosh.
healed. I know, but this is the most interesting factor. I've healed 4 of them.
Of those types.
Literally, over a period of time, I've healed their body.
Yeah.
When I say I have instructed them to go beyond what they believe and go beyond what has happened to them and to see their body as it is. Over a period of time, it's worked on those 4 occasions. I haven't had any more, but 4 of them, they literally manifested a body as a spirit. You imagine how grateful they were?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because somebody took the time to help. It's like if I had the ability, Michael, I would save every child from a baby, a toddler, teenager, and up from the grips of the CPCs, which is cannibalistic pedophile criminals. Because what happens in that situation, Michael, is beyond, it's just beyond anybody ever trying to even comprehend that could actually happen. And yet it is. And here's the most interesting factor. Some people will really hate this. The Freemasons have been involved in Satanism for a very long time, all over the world.
Wow. So they do their own negative. I was going to say rituals. What's the words? Killing of things with it. Yeah. Oh, sacrifices. Do they do sacrifices as well?
Absolutely, I would say
gosh.
so.
Yeah.
But what's interesting, this thing I read today about, I won't go into it deep. I was just going to say about the Vatican. And the Vatican is one of the most evil places on earth. And what they have is their drunken drug states of orgies all the time.
Wow.
And you never hear about it. But it's becoming more and more knowledgeable to a lot of people. And that's the best thing. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why Giovanni, I can't pronounce his last name, it's a bit of a strange one. He's the spirit. You know, I showed you the photos, the one that appeared to me. My daughter took the photo and brought it back and gave it to me. She was shocked when she had the things turned into pictures and she saw this green thing. And she said, oh, my God. Well, that's Giovanni. Right? And what he told me is what they're telling people today about how how bad the Vatican truly is, how evil they are. And they have been for a very long time. And what's more interesting is he's a really good clincher. Whether you believe this or not, whether I believe it or not, doesn't matter. But if people investigate the past to the present, they'll find out it's true. Satanic, what is it called? Satanic religion created Christianity, the Catholic religion, to fool the people into believing in an illusion.
Gosh.
Now, you've got to ask yourself the question: is that just plain BS? Which many people who have believed in religion for so long will say, yes, he's probably the devil talking. It's a proven fact that the Vatican is one of the most evil places on this planet for rituals, for murder, for raping babies and children, and for killing. And they're pedophiles. It's known. But they have kept it so secret. But it's all coming out. And there are a lot of people, millions, know about it around the world, hundreds of millions. And that's a really good sign. So,
wow, you reckon out of Satanism came the Catholic religion?
yes.
Wow.
That's what it's saying. I read it today.
Wow.
That's what it's saying. Is it people? Most people who are religious will never, ever accept that. And yet, it seems very true. Because if you study people like Hitler, people like Napoleon, people like, what's that guy way back in the Roman time? What was his name?
Caesar?
Caesar, yeah. They're all evil. And they're all about control, domination, and knocking off the masses to reduce the human population. And that's why all wars were created, especially the ones we know, the First World War, the Second World War, the Vietnam War. The Vietnam War was set up not so much for the liberation of the Vietnam people. It was set up so the CIA could take over all the drug plantations, and that they did. They killed off all the triads and all that type of stuff. They controlled it with the American soldiers, made over 200,000 American soldiers drug addicts who end up staying in Vietnam because they couldn't go back to their own country because they had like all those diseases like the pox and all that type of stuff, sexual diseases. And they then ran all the plantations over Vietnam, and they made hundreds of millions of dollars. And that's why there's a certain sector of the CIA that is so corrupt that Trump knows about it. But he says very little because they're very dangerous.
Gosh.
I mean, the movie, what were those movies called? Matt Damien? Is it Matt Damien?
Yeah.
What were those 4 movies he made? What were they called? Probably about 15 years ago, 20 years ago.
You mean the action ones? Yeah, where he lost his memory?
Yeah, he lost his memory. He was
the Born Identity.
Yeah, Born Identity, right? If you study them, it's all the CIA.
Mm.
And it's the corruption of a certain sector of the CIA. They worked in with the CIA, but they were linked, a certain section of them, together, and they only listened to one person. So he was going around trying to eradicate the bad CIA. And if you look at what happened through the Vietnam War and the corruption and the killing of, say, people like JFK and all that, and Abraham Lincoln, it was the FBI to the CIA and also to the big union, like it was whatever the union was called then. They were all involved, and so was the KGB, which was the secret service in Russia. It was all interlinked, how they were doing all this. So it makes you really think about where do we stand behind all the corruption? Where do we stand when you have the World Health Organization being able to control over 194 governments worldwide? You got to ask yourself that question, don't you?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, that's that.
That's that.
And that's the reality. Healing, mate, is so simple. Know that?
And I wanted to come back to when you were mentioning the many, many spirits that all wanted to express to you. What you learnt coming back 3 years after closing that off was basically, was it just to hold your personal power and say, please, one at a time? And say, sorry, be quiet, one at a time, please.
That's right. Yeah, it was. But it was also to keep my sanity. Because if you've got like 1,000 voices or 500 voices all chatting at the same time, it overloads your human brain. It can cause you a lot of internal stress.
It's real noise, just on a higher frequency or something, isn't it?
It is, mate. It's all negative.
All negative, but like the scientific idea that you can hear these voices that others can't hear is because how would you say it works?
It's raising your consciousness.
Yeah, so you have raised it, so you're able to tune into it, and then they sound completely normal, don't they?
Yes.
Wow.
Just sounds like you're talking to me now.
Yeah. Wow.
This is what people don't fully understand when they don't understand the reality of spirit world to the difference of the human world. As we talk, you and I, or whoever you are talking to, exactly the same happens in spirit world. You can talk to someone and it'll sound just like you've been in the physical world talking to another physical person. No difference.
Wow.
Yeah. You have the negative and the positive on this third dimension in the human world. In the spirit world, you have the same thing. The only difference is you're a spirit and you're limitless. But most of them, in fact, probably 99.8% or 99.87% have no idea that they are limitless because they don't even know how to accept that.
Yeah, they're caught up in their own emotions from the past and they don't realize that there is no limit around them if they were to just open up greater, right?
That's right.
Wow. Was it also overwhelming when you opened up your sight and you were seeing just so much?
Oh, yeah, mate. The colours were very, very overwhelming. I can tell you that now. Very overwhelming. Most people wouldn't be able to handle it because I had a pretty bad time with it for a while.
Wow.
And I remember the spirit explaining it to me, getting me to really listen. And eventually I listened. And when they explained it to me, I began to understand that is just another reality that you're going into, and it's overwhelming. Because normally you don't see that type of thing, or normally you don't understand that type of thing. But once you do, it's not an issue. You accept it just like life itself.
Yeah, I guess so. Wow, that's fantastic. This concludes another episode of Kuntarkis. If you'd like to find out more about Kuntarkis, find his website, which is etcconsciousness.com. He has articles there, he has his books listed there, and also if you have any reason to contact us in general for any reason, just email kuntarkis@gmail.com. That's it for now. Thanks so much for listening. My name is Michael Yon, and stay tuned for more.